Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Tim, Braden, Second Legacy, and thank you so much for showing up and helping us through this day, because this is called an ode to insanity. That's what we're going to call this series, because everything is insane. It's not awesome, it's insane. We're going to show you a few of the things that we've discovered on the Twitterverse, and I'll be honest with you guys, you're not alone. You're not in Crazy Land. You just are watching Crazy Land happen, because oh my God. So as we go through this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Sarcasm and humor is going to be heavily applied in this one, so buckle up, get ready for a smile and a good time. Tim, Ode to Insanity episode. I think that's what we got to call him, man.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that name. It actually kind of fits. And there is a lot of insanity going on in American politics. I mean, it's just getting weirder and weirder. And it's so funny that the word weird has shown up now. Maybe we'll talk about that in this episode.
Yeah, we will.
But things have definitely gotten very strange. I mean, if you thought a couple of years ago we were living the plot line to the movie Idiocracy, if you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's outstanding because it is actually a documentary. At first, it was supposed to be a comedy, and decades ago it was, but it has evolved into a documentary. We are living the plot line of Idiocracy, and I think this episode is going to highlight at least pieces of that.
Bro, yeah. Absolutely. Let's just start off with what everyone feels. Number 11. I'm hoping to God, because I didn't collect this one, Tim. Yeah. I'm hoping to God that this is a parody and not the real thing.
No, that's reported to be the actual cover of the New Yorker, or the New York Magazine, I should say. Yeah.
Oh my! I thought it was a parody. No. We are in Crazy World. My God!
I guess they're calling her would-be whatever administration Camelot.
They're making a play on Camelot from JFK.
Who knows?
These people are.
Who knows?
Crazy.
I mean, it is. I mean, they even blew up her head. She's got a bobblehead doll sized head on her there, and then sitting on a coconut because remember she said something in a speech sometime. Did you just fall out of a coconut tree?
You're right.
And now they're trying to embrace that stupidity. You know, they take her word salads. They try to turn them into something cool.
Just like she's not the border czar.
Yeah. She gets promoted to the border czar. Everybody reports she was the border czar. And then one by one, Axios, CBS, everybody starts amending their 2-3-year-old, or actually 1 to 2-year-old, articles and removing the phrase border czar, because that is not politically expedient for her now that she has been anointed without the democratic process. Democracy failed once again. And now she's just been installed as the new candidate. Because the 14 million votes that the people actually voted for Joe Biden with, well, those don't really count anymore. Bait and switch. Here's Joe. Oh, just kidding. Here's Kamala.
Yoink. All right, slides. I'm going to throw in a video real quick because it's pertinent to what we're talking about. It's going to be right behind that one, so I'm going to stall, and then when I see it on the actual screen, I'll ask you to play it. But yeah, so Tim, I've got something just to speak to that. But as we're continuing on here to the coconut thing while that's loading up, if you live in reality, a week ago, it was Kamala Harris can never be the candidate. It would be horrible. Biden is the way. He is the everything. He is good to go. He would never do anything outside because he's running. And within 7 days, we've gone to full-on coronation.
Yeah.
I mean, full-on coronation. All right, and so I see it in there.
But it gets even better, to that, right? Because when they were talking about removing Biden, I mean, this is recent history, folks. When they were talking about removing Biden, literally nobody in the DNC leadership was talking about Harris. They were talking about Newsom. No. They were talking about Michelle Obama. They were talking about, that crazy woman from Michigan, Whitmer.
Whitmer.
I mean, they were floating everybody but her, because she was the one candidate that polled consistently lower than Biden, who was like 38%.
Everyone.
They wanted her, and they were infuriated. And it was been reported that Biden, in his farewell speech, anointed her and threw his support behind her as a jab in the eye of Schumer and Pelosi and all the others that forced him out of office. Because
she had no chance.
Right, because she had no chance. Well, he propped her up, and then they can't very well take that away because they had to make him look like a hero because they forced him out of office. But the narrative is, he wasn't so much forced out of office. He saved democracy by stepping aside. He made his own decision.
Yeah,
you literally stabbed him in the back, Brutus. And
yeah, exactly. Et tu, Brute? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's check this audio real quick, and then we'll play this one after that.
Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People gonna have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to work on kind of the root causes of immigration.
There has been so much criticism against Kamala Harris. You know, she was the border czar.
Calling her sort of the border czar, which wasn't necessarily the case.
So the border, if they weren't planning to address it in a major way, do not make her your border czar. She met with some of the Northern Triangle countries, but nothing has effectively changed.
The flip-flopping they do. But, you know...
Oh, dude, that's not even flip-flopping. That I don't even know if that qualifies as flip-flopping. I think that is erasing history and reinstilling your own. That is like straight 1984.
Well, I mean, and Axios posted on X that, you know, hey, you know, we are one of the many news organizations that falsely reported that she was the border czar. We've amended our article. So they're going back in time and changing the story. And why are they changing the story, Braden? Because she sucked. She has never accomplished anything in her entire life. The one election she won before she got to where she was against another Democrat out of California. I mean, it's not like she's accomplished much of anything. She was one of the first people, if not the first person, to drop out of the debates in 2020 because she just got eviscerated. She doesn't accomplish anything. She fails upstairs. This is a typical leftist act.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
goodness. 100%. But you know what'll help though, Tim?
What's that?
You know, having a group that's so specialized. I love specialization. Like white dudes for Harris.
Yeah, I mean they're not racist or anything.
No. Hey, you know what? I can't wait for the one-armed, purple-skinned paraplegics for Harris because everyone's got to have a special group for Harris.
Yeah, we're gonna have every ethnic group. Otherwise, it's pure racism. You got to have every ethnic group get their own special segregated phone call. You know, they already had the black people. Hats. Now they're doing the white dudes, and they got to do the Asian dudes, and they got to do the Indian dudes, the natives, and then Indians. Then we got to do Slavics, and then we got to, we got Mediterranean. We just got to go down the checklist to make sure we get all the virtue signaling groups accounted for here. Otherwise,
make sure we're all included.
Yeah, I mean, this is what equity is, folks. This is segregated equity. That's all they're doing. There's nothing odd about this. I mean, who wouldn't want to wear a hat that says "white dude for Harris"? You know?
Could you hold on?
That's not racist at all. That's not racist.
No, not at all. Let's go into another crazy world. What do you think would happen if we wore hats that said "white dudes for Trump"? Bro.
Right.
Dude, the
Trump
media
just had
would not be able to contain itself on the
Could you
internet.
imagine if Trump had a campaign Zoom call that only invited white people?
Only white people.
So we're going to have a Trump campaign, white Christian males for Trump. Only you can be on our phone call.
Oh.
It's like unbelievable. And they call
really
us the racist. It's just,
you didn't know?
It's insanity. I mean, this is not just racism. This is also segregation. They're practicing it.
Yeah. So now, speaking of white dudes for Harris, I've got to put a caveat on this one. This meme is you're going to see images of hugging, and hugging is an expression of love. So don't think anything else.
Yeah, this is just, we're making fun of the memes out there because this is just highlighting the absolute insanity of what's going on out there right now.
It's about physical expressions of love through hugs, nothing else. This is number 13.
I can't believe you're
letting
this go.
No, I am. You know why I'm letting it go? Because it's a hug.
It is.
It's a hug. See, look, she is trying to bring him into the hug.
Yeah.
It's all about hugs.
Yes.
Now, don't mention the tears and the happy face mask that's over his face. Don't mention that. It's hugs. It's such an emotional embrace.
It is.
Yeah. But it's all about framing, really, Tim. In fact, if we look right down here, because again, imagine this for a Trump campaign. Calling all white dudes for Harris. We up next. I
mean, it's just, this is where we are. I mean, if you would have told me 20 years ago that these are the types of conversations we'd be having in American politics, I would have said, yeah, it ain't going to get that bad. There's no way it could get that bad. And here we are. I mean, it's
so many hugs. All the hugs.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's just a little upset that, I don't know, maybe his neighbor's hugging his wife, and
I think that's
he's
what
being
it is.
forced
The
to sit on the
neighbor got
couch to
hug
watch. Yeah, it's
the hugs.
it's
It's
probably
about
not
hugs.
a statement about the people that would actually be on that phone call not being real men.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what
I
that
don't
is.
think it is.
It's confusing to me. Let's just move on because I'm about to say something I shouldn't. So let's move. Quick.
That's good. That's good. Well, that's good because there's nothing to say bad because we've expressed what it is. There's no way it could be anything else. Moving right along.
Well, it's just my sense of humor that might get me in trouble.
No, you think? You think, Tim? Okay.
Let's not forget about the
Let's
gerbil
continue.
crack. Okay.
Oh, the gerbil. That was legendary.
Yeah.
Also the ding dongs and the upside down Snickers. No, you've been on a roll recently.
Yeah.
So, you know how Kamala Harris is kind of a socialist, right? We like to say
Kind
she's a
of.
socialist. Lefties are
No, yeah,
socialist.
she's like
Kind
the
of
furthest
suspicion.
left. She was rated as the GovFacts or whatever rated her the most
That's
leftist
true.
senator in American history. She is like the left of
That
Stalin.
is true, but then they deleted it.
Yeah, well,
But
they
then
had to delete it, yeah.
so it doesn't count.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
now
so it
she's
doesn't
running
count.
for office.
Well,
and we just got to rewrite history. Now she's very much
This
the
is what
moderate.
she posted.
Yeah.
That's right. She's so moderate, and she's so genius, and she's
The greatest
Obama's
orator
second coming.
in history is what they're saying now.
In time,
Yeah.
in all time, absolutely. Well, this is what she posted yesterday about the Venezuelan presidential election, where they said President Maduro claims victory. Opposition groups claim irregularities. Irregularities in socialist
Yeah.
Venezuela.
In a dictatorship,
Okay.
never happens.
Yeah, that never happens. Well, this is what she said. The United States stands with the people of Venezuela who expressed their voice in today's historical presidential election. The will of the Venezuelan people must be respected. Despite the many challenges, we will continue to work toward a more democratic, prosperous, and secure future for the people of Venezuela.
A violent
What
dictator just stole the
world
election. And we have to
What world am I living in?
we have to respect the decision of the violent dictator, folks.
Oh God! No, Tim. It clearly says we've got to respect the Venezuelan
No,
people.
no, it's not the people. She's talking about the socialist dictator because she wants to be a socialist dictator. I mean, she is a social. No, she.
No, she is. No, that is.
I want to call
that
her a
is
communist, but
No,
she's
it's too far.
yeah.
It's too far.
Communism doesn't really exist. It's socialism, but yeah, she's a socialist. Like again, a socialist to the
absolute
left
socialist.
of Stalin and Lenin.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
It has absolutely been proven.
she would make
has
Fidel
on the
Castro
record
blush.
statement.
Yeah. So
Fidel Castro. Well, hey, look. You want me to take you through a trip of how fast you can turn a country to crap with socialism?
yeah, let's take a look at that. I'm sure
Yeah,
that played out well in
let's look
Venezuela
at
because
this.
the will of the people spoke
It
in
turned out
Venezuela,
great.
and it's turned out great so
That's
far.
right. The will of the
Let's
people.
break this down
It's
for the
all about
audience.
the will of the people. This is number 15. Let me just run it through it real quick. So this is an image of a pretty good assessment of what socialism does to a country. You Gen Zers who are enticed and seduced by the idea of equity.
And free
So
stuff.
in 1992, and free stuff. 92 became third richest country in the hemisphere. 97 became the second largest purchasers of F-150s. 2001 voted for socialist president for income inequality. That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Mhm.
2004, private healthcare is completely socialized. That sounds oddly familiar too. 2007, all higher education becomes free. Wow, we're hearing them say that here
Yeah,
too.
and they're doing it. They're just paying people back
2009,
on their
and they're
loans.
doing
Yeah.
it. Uh-huh. Socialist banned private ownership of guns. Wow.
Yeah.
This is becoming like a playlist.
Yeah.
2012, Bernie Sanders praises the American dream, or their American dream, excuse me. 2014, opposition leaders are imprisoned. Wait a minute.
Yeah. It's almost like,
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Food, healthcare shortages become widespread. We're not there yet. 2017, Constitution and elections are suspended. And 2019, unarmed citizens are massacred by their own government. So we're talking from 92 to 2019. 27 years.
Yeah.
Bro.
And then in 2024,
That is-
Maduro just declared himself victor again.
Well, the people.
First,
The
I believe his
the
third term.
people's opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people's opinion. And it's all about their vote and their.
And he has,
Who wouldn't want all of these things?
yeah, and this murderous dictator has the full support of Kamala Harris.
Exactly. But what's really crazy though, dude, I mean, when you look at this through the lens of what the left has done here in this country, you're only missing 3 of them.
Yeah. They're almost
Or
there.
4 of them.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Biden talked
Good
about it. He has to
God.
finish what he started. That's what they're trying to do here, folks.
Oh, that
Believe them when they
that-
say it. Isn't that what they say about us?
Oh no, that's very true. That's very true. Hey, speaking of weird, this is number 16. You know how everyone's saying on Twitter that JD Vance is weird?
Yeah.
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 This is who's saying it.
Right. And we have the White House where we have, people running around with no tops on and doing all sorts of weird sexual stuff. And but JD Vance is weird. Yeah.
And in the Senate.
But see,
all sorts of, but we're weird.
Do you know where the weird thing came from? So under Biden's purple hair leadership, because he isn't really in charge of anything, they were saying that, the Republicans want to be dictators, the democracy is going to die, and that wasn't polling well, right? It seemed a little over the top. So apparently what polled well,
especially since what they pulled.
It shift from, right, to shift from, well, they're going to destroy democracy. Let's just call them weird. And that's what they're all running. So if you go through and look at the Hogs and the Sisons and the Mallories and all the other goofballs, the Paige Shills out there, the JoJos, they're all parroting this thing. They're weird. They're weird. They're weird. Even George Takei said that he knows weird because he's been to Trek conventions, insulting his own fan base. This is what the left does, folks. It's
well, you know what else the left does? They have magnifying glasses, and they sniff stuff out, Tim.
Yes, they're quite.
They
the
found
sleuth.
it. Yeah. They're quite the sleuths. Well, this is number 17. This is something that's been raging on Twitter yesterday.
Oh, this is good.
Did you know that JD Vance was at a gun show?
Yeah.
And he was in the very vicinity and area of a potential unconfirmed swastika.
Yes. So this circulated the internet yesterday, and I found this would be particularly interesting. So JD Vance is standing there looking at a table that has a number of old revolvers on it. And then, of course, one thing that catches my eye is the Type 14 8mm Nambu over there towards the bottom right side of the screen.
Yeah, that was intriguing to me as well.
So I collect those. I love them. And so he's looking at firearms. A table behind him, if you zoom in, I think we have an image. I threw it in the text exchange.
We've got it.
If you zoom in, way off in the distance, the guy sitting behind JD Vance, having no interaction with JD Vance whatsoever.
Two tables over,
has a swastika armband in his display case. Now, people are saying, oh my gosh, he's at a Nazi convention. No, folks, this is a gun show, and gun shows are memorabilia shows, and people collect stuff from World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, GWAT, and like it or not, World War II was the deadliest war the world had ever seen up to that point, and it seems to have made an impression in history. Therefore, the items from that era are collectible, and people collect them. Doesn't make you a fascist because you have something from World War II. I collect firearms. I have Lugers and bolt action rifles and K98s and all sorts of stuff from that era because I'm a military small arms collector. And it doesn't make me a fascist or an imperial Japanese supporter or a fascist Italian supporter of Mussolini because I own firearms from that era.
Yeah.
But that's what they're trying to say here.
I think it does. No, it does. I don't think you understand. And also, just hover on the subject real quick. I zoomed into that as close as I possibly could, and I do not see a full swastika.
I do.
I see literally red, white with black.
Yeah, there's a little black squiggly thing. Yeah. But hey,
So
JD Vance is in the same building as a swastika folk. He's a Nazi. He's a Nazi.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I
He's
bet
weird.
Every single museum is now a Nazi. So everyone goes into a museum as a Nazi.
Yeah, well, that's what somebody
Makes
posted
total
when I was
sense.
having this argument on X. I said, well, I happen to have all sorts of, he said, well, if you think this is okay, why don't you do a video on some of your memorabilia? And I said, well, I have. I collect firearms. I don't collect uniforms. And and I posted several links. And of course, he's like, no.
They did the same thing to Brandon Herrera. Remember that?
Yeah.
They said he was a Nazi when he was running against Tony Gonzalez because he fired an MP-44.
Yeah. But that wasn't good enough for him. He's like, well, because he said that I would destroy my own YouTube channel if I posted a video that had some sort of World War II memorabilia in it. And I said, well, clearly it didn't destroy my YouTube channel. Well, I'm talking about flags. It's like, well, some of the firearms I've done videos on actually still have swastikas on them. They haven't been defaced. They're more valuable that way. But, and then it came up to the whole museum thing. Well, those things should be donated to a museum. Well, then that raises the question, if they're donated to a museum, the fact that they exist and you go into a museum to see that, does that make you a Nazi?
That makes you a Nazi. And
It's
as
so
a special, they are stupid. But as a special little ode to anybody who's ever been to SHOT Show or any convention, if we zoom that image right back out, you see in the bottom left corner, that is the bane of every single creator in our space when we walk through SHOT Show. You see that, Tim? See that thing on the very bottom left?
No.
the scooter.
Oh yeah, I have a name for that, but I can't say it.
No. I know. I know. We all know the name of it, but yeah, that scooter right down there. Those are the bane of all existence of every creator ever, because you're gonna get run over by one. You just are. It's just part of it.
They'll just park right in the middle of the aisle and block all traffic while they have a conversation with their other friend in a scooter.
That could be a totally different. They pull up like cops opposite each other. Dude, they really do it, guys. We could tell you stories about how people handle those things, and stories we've seen. We can't.
No,
but I'd love to. But that's all I got, Tim. That's the ode to.
Is that everything? I thought we had so much more.
Yeah,
I put so much more in the text.
No.
You left out so much stuff.
There's many reasons, Tim. There are many reasons I did.
I try, folks. I really try. I try to get the really good stuff in, but the censorship board has a say in all this. And
I know.
We have
the HR board does have a say in it.
So anyway, all right, folks.
Weird. We not getting banned. It's so odd.
I'll keep pushing for the Gen X humor. You guys keep watching Second Legacy. We'll talk to you guys soon.